Hi. Really sorry for what I'm about to do.
Chloe was the funniest person I'd ever met, and all her friends would tell you the same.
My name's Chloe and I'm Tara's oldest and prettiest daughter.
Kiss him.
She was smart. She was a very free spirit. She did as she pleased. She was exceptionally kind. She was the first to pull up a bully. She loved anything different.
You don't have to feel like always you.
She had her tattoos all over her, butterflies all over her arms. She'd say, "Mum, butterflies don't feel pain."
I've just been in so much pain for so long, and I just don't see any other way of being out of it.
Chloe Murray was 29 when she sat in a hotel room all alone and recorded her final goodbye. Rather than choosing to end her life, she chose to escape the debilitating pain.
My pain just made me so angry and bitter. I just couldn't deal with it anymore. I don't know how I dealt with it for this long.
Chloe's nightmare began when she was involved in a catastrophic car accident in February 2020. She shattered her cervical spine. Despite undergoing 2 major spinal surgeries and receiving repeated cortisone injections, the agonising pain never left her.
She had a lot of pain. She had issues with her left arm, everything. It was complex, everything. The accident, the medications. She felt everyone was moving forward and she wasn't. She wasn't able to do a lot of things she could have done before. Yeah, and it did change her. But, there were times where you wouldn't think that it changed her. But then it would hit home and she would be very, very depressed about it.
3 years later, Chloe was referred to a Sydney pain clinic. While she fought desperately to keep up her university studies, her physical and mental state began a terrifying downward spiral. Chloe was placed on a heavy medication routine that included strong opioids. Her mother, Tara, watched helplessly as her daughter cycled through the prescription, burning through the medication in the first few days after the visits, and then retreating into a dark isolation.
She became withdrawn. She became very angry. She was very short-tempered. She didn't like loud noises. She'd take to her room for days. You just wouldn't see her. You couldn't go in a room. You'd knock, "What do you want? Leave me alone." And then she'd come out of a room, put a little tiara on and take off and go out. Every time she'd come home and she'd say, I go, what's new? I'd be Eva, what's new? What's happening? She'd be like, nothing's changed. And she'd say, well, what can they do in 3 to 5 minutes, Mum? That sort of medicine shouldn't be a sterile field. You have to get to know them. The psychiatrist didn't know what she did for a living, what she studied. He didn't know that she didn't work. He didn't know any of that. He said, his words, "I've found more about Chloe out from you than she ever told me." Well, ask, mate. Ask her the questions.
Then came a flicker of hope. Intravenous ketamine infusions for chronic pain and treatment-resistant depression. The wait, though, for the insurance approval was brutal. When she sat in a psychiatrist's room in September 2023, she was a young woman falling apart at the seams. Her clinician typed a series of chilling words into her medical record. Pain, sad, angry, depressed, poor sleep, untidy, impaired, restricted pupils. To a terrified mother, the word untidy was a blaring alarm.
That wasn't Chloe at all. Chloe didn't go out like that anywhere. She said to the psychiatrist, "Mum and I are fighting." This is his words. "She is accusing me of being suicidal all the time." And on the notes it said, "Mother is worried about overdose." And the plan was to refer her to a physio. There was no suicide risk assessment done. There was no safety plan. There was no call to me. You can break confidentiality when someone's suicidal. There was nothing. She came into my room real happy and she goes, "Mum, do you want this?" And I said, "No, I've got an iWatch." "I got your old one, Chloe." And she goes, No, I won't wear it." I go, "Why?" She goes, "My arm, it aggravates." And I said, "No, I don't want it." And in the same breath, she gave her brother her iPad. And then she said she gave away the big Mac computer. Oh, other things she was giving away, and she was doing it real happily. I am a nurse, I'm not mental health trained, but something switched in my head. I'm like, whoa, alarm bells went off. She's giving away things. I'd read it somewhere, they start giving away possessions and they're quite happy to do it. And I confronted her. Chloe, she goes, what? I go, have you got a plan to take your life? And she goes, what? As if to say, oh God, she knows. And I couldn't think for the life of me what to add on after that. And I went, Chloe, you will destroy your brother's life. I mean, but she loves her little brother so much. And she slammed the door. She goes, oh, I wouldn't do that. And she slammed the door. And there were times over the next week I'd say it again, do you have a plan? Please tell me. And I stopped asking stupidly because I thought I was planting the seed, which I know now I wasn't, you know. We would argue a lot during that period because I would be trying to, you know, basically she saw it as interfering. I was trying to get her as much help as I could. And one day I asked her if we can go to St. John of God because she had private health care to get her off the pharmacy mess she was on and get her the help she needed. I think the ketamine was her last hope. If the ketamine wasn't going to, you know, if she wasn't going to receive that, she'd lost hope. There was no hope. She said, I don't see a future, Mum. I said, I see a future. This is just, remember, you know, I quote things, this too shall pass, Chloe. Look at you, you are smart. You've got everything. You just don't see it at the moment because of the depression.
7 weeks later, Chloe was dead. She told her family she was heading to the Central Coast caravan for quiet time. But unbeknown to her family, Chloe had methodically prepared for the end. She left 17 handwritten farewell letters for friends, hidden away months earlier, alongside typed letters for her family members and a farewell video.
Saturday morning at 3 a.m, I just got this, I don't know what you would call it, maybe a mother's instinct. I woke my husband up and I said, something's happened to Chloe. And he goes, Tara, she had dinner with me and the kids. And well, you were at physio the night before she left. She was laughing and joking. And I'm like, God, that's on the list too. She had her last meal with the family. And I started bringing her friends. And no one knew. They didn't even know she was clinically depressed. And Cassie broke into her computer. She got the name first go and up popped a file on the screen. Goodbye letters. And I just screamed. And I rang the police. We tracked her Find My. She was at a hotel and she left a note on the door. Don't enter. She said, don't enter. In her mind, someone had to find her. And it would best be the police, not the hotel staff. We were on the front lawn when we found out at my house. And just the screams from her siblings was just so... It was so brutal. The pain had been transferred. That's what they say. The pain is transferred, and yeah, it was just, I hadn't even, then I had to tell, the friends and her dad, and just, it was a nightmare, yeah.
But I want you to know that I'm not scared. I want you to remember me before I was in this much pain. And that I tried so hard to hold on, but I just can't anymore.
Tara believes the system failed her beloved firstborn. She's now speaking out so that Chloe's story forces change and ensures that no other family is left carrying this unimaginable pain.
I want psychiatrists, psychologists, anyone dealing with mental health to know that, firstly, they need hope. You've got to get to know that patient. It is a must in this field, That sort of medicine shouldn't be a sterile field. Yeah. You have to get to know them. No one ever asked Chloe, what did she want to do? What her hopes and dreams were, what her future holds. The psychiatrist didn't know what she did for a living, what she studied. He didn't know that she didn't work. He didn't know that she received a payout. When I asked him, because I'd spoken to him after she passed away. What did you do? He said I was going to tackle that next session. We'd run out of time.
How did that make you feel?
Chloe had just died. I hadn't even viewed her at the morgue yet to verify her body. It made me feel sick. She was my daughter. There were things you could have done. You could have changed her medication. You could have reviewed her medications. You could have called that day. You could have called the paramedics and had her taken to hospital, and I would have taken over from there. I would have had the proof then that I needed. He could have sectioned her for 48 hours. Once we got her in the hospital and she was given a drug that would have slowed her mind down, a Seroquel, an antipsychotic, slowed her mind down, then got her out of that crisis, and then we could have dealt with it there. We could have got her help. I know there is no guarantees when it comes to suicide. I know she could have taken her life a year later, 6 months later. But I know they hadn't even tried. They hadn't even switched to antidepressants. She was my daughter. Like, she wasn't just a number. She wasn't just a number at your clinic.
I want you to know that I tried to be a kind and loving and good person. But I want you to all love each other and take care of each other and talk to each other.
What would you say to her now if you could talk to her now?
I miss you so much. Yeah, I'm so sorry that I missed so many important signs, and I don't even know what I could have done. Like, in hindsight, I should have stormed that doctor's office and just said, probably, I don't know what makes them do the right thing, She hadn't even had a go at trying to, fix the depression. Nothing had been done, just one antidepressant that wasn't working. I just tell her I miss her so much, and, you were so worthy of all the love in the world. We love her so much.
You can feel it in this room.
Yeah, I know she's with us. We all feel it. Mum, I want you to know that I love you so much. I love you all so much. But I love you, and you was the best mum. I'm so sorry. But I couldn't go another day feeling this way.